The best custom tactics and instructions for the 4-2-2 formation in FIFA 21. Probably one of the best attacking formations in the game at the moment. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another video, squad, and if you are new here, my name is Brabsy, competitive FIFA player and your FIFA 21 coach. Today we're going to set up the 4-2-2 formation, so as always, sit back and enjoy, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Feel free to follow me on my social media channels. Let's go. As always then, we have tested this team out in the top two divisions with a very subpar squad to make sure that the formation can handle itself, and like with any other formation, we're going to hit the L2 button, go into custom tactics, and then hit L2 again to bring up your custom tactics slots, and then you can place this formation in any slots you want. It will play the same regardless of where you put it. So just to confirm, there are two variations of 4-4-2. In this particular one, we're going to use the standard formation, which is the flat midfield, 2 central midfielders, 2 wide players, and 2 strikers up top. Let's get the custom tactics sorted. So we want to use this formation as an aggressive attacking formation. We don't want to be sat back on our opponents. So by all means, this isn't going to be the most defensive formations. You are probably going to be more likely to concede a goal using this one as you would more defensive ones, but the entire purpose of this formation is to get in the faces of our opponents, get plenty of attacking opportunities created, and that all stems from these custom tactics right here. So first of all, defensive style we're going to leave on balance, because we are going to have our team sat quite high up the pitch to retrieve the ball as soon as we lose it in the attacking third. Therefore, we don't want our players pulling themselves out of position too much. We want our defense to remain rigid, so balance really is the best defensive style for this formation. So the width of this formation we're actually going to leave on 5 on this one. I do tend to like running width of 4 on quite a lot of formations, but I think 5 just gives it a really good balance on this, so you're covering every area of the wide play, because remember, we're going to have our defense pushed quite high up in this formation, so we want them to be able to pick the ball up regardless of where it spills out to them. Don't be too scared of the depth on this one, folks. We're going to leave it as a depth of 6 in this formation. As you can see on the diagram, it does mean that your defense will still pull back to just above the penalty area, which is absolutely fine. Still deep when we're deep in the defensive side, but it just means when we don't have the ball, our midfield and our strikers and our defenders will sit past that halfway line, meaning as soon as your opponent wins the ball off you, your players are already going to be surrounding them in their own half, so you can hit that team press button if you like, or you can just manually press them. It means you can win the ball back a lot quicker than you can in other formations where you're dropping further back. Offensive style, we're going to go for long ball. This will become more apparent in the player instructions, but this really does bring the best out of the attacking side of this formation, which is exactly what we want this formation to do. Width, again, we're not going to alter this too much. We're going to stay as a width of 5, so our wingers are encouraged to get in behind. They can get close to the touchline if necessary, but they also have the opportunity to cut inside as well. So I find 5 a really good balance for this one. And as for the players in the box, we're going to go for 6 in this one, just to encourage players to get forward without going too gung-ho. We are going to have one of our midfielders getting forward as well, so this is really useful to encourage them to make those attacking runs. Corners and free kicks can be absolutely to your preference. I've got quite a few corner routines that I think are quite good on 2. It means your tallest 2 players are going to be on the penalty spot and the back post, so if you want to whip a quick cross into them, you know exactly where they're going to be stood at all times. Free kicks I tend to like on 2, just more from the point of view that I'm not going to get counter-attacked if I lose the ball from a free kick, so I just find it a bit safer to leave that one on 2 as well. Folks, those are the tactics sorted. We're going to go into the player instructions now to really get this bad boy up and running. The great thing about this formation is that we don't actually need to change too many of the instructions to get the best out of it. So as far as the strikers goes, we're not actually going to change anything in this one. Balance width is absolutely fine, and the most important one is to keep them on mixed attack. So the reason we're using long ball is this encourages players to get in behind the defense. So by leaving them on mixed attack, they are still actually going to get in behind quite a lot. But the important thing is, if we actually set them on getting behind, they try and do it every single time, and sometimes that's not what you want them to do. Quite often in this formation, to build up your attacks, you want your strikers to be coming 2 feet, waiting for that X pass, and then you start building your attacks up. So leaving them on mixed attack means they're going to receive that initial X pass, and then they're going to start making more forward runs in behind. So this default set of instructions is applicable to every single style of striker, whether they're fast, tall, wide, in Akinfenwa's case. It doesn't really matter what style of player they are, it's just important to give them the freedom to pick and choose what they're going to do in any attacking scenario. Moving on to the wide players next, this is applicable to both the left and right midfielder. Want them on basic support, balanced width again so they can either cut inside or stay out wide towards the touchline depending on the attacking scenario. Getting behind is one of the most important parts of this particular instruction, just to encourage them to run forward every single time as soon as we get the ball. Get into the box for cross, really useful for those crosses coming in towards the back post as well. I'm sure you've all seen that video by now. If not, it'll be somewhere up there in the tags. And normal interceptions. So again, just to confirm, that is the same for the right attacking midfielder. So the central midfielders is where we're mixing it up a little bit, and it depends what type of centre mid you have as to what instructions you're going to use. So my preference in this formation, as it is with most other formations, is to have one defensive midfielder and one more attacking centre midfielder. For the defensive one, now in this instance, I've actually pushed Trent Alexander-Arnold into the centre of mid. I'd put him on stay back while attacking, balanced crossing runs, normal interceptions, stick to position, and the only other change is swapping them to cover centre just so they don't go out too far wide. As for the other central midfielder, they're going to help us out more in the attacking side of play, so it depends really what two players you have in these positions. I know some of you guys like to run with two out and out defensive midfielders, so all I will say is whichever one is better at passing the ball, maybe slightly better at dribbling, I'd use them as the attacking style centre mid. So these instructions then vary depending what type of player you've got and what you want them to do in this formation. By far the best I find is to have them on get forward, balanced crossing runs, and cover centre as the three main changes for this formation. Having them on get forward means they're actually going to push up towards the strikers, sometimes even in beyond the strikers, which is really useful for when we've got players like Akinfenwa that are going to be standing up waiting for the X pass. That midfielder is going to push up and give them another passing option to go towards. If you have really defensive central midfielders and you don't want them getting forward too much, you can just leave them on balanced attack, which means they still will come up and help out, they just won't get too far forward. I prefer them on get forward because I'm more of an attacking player, but this is absolutely down to how you play the game. As for the defenders then, absolutely nothing out of the ordinary here. We want them all on stay back while attacking. They're going to sit on the halfway line or just afterwards, trying to sweep up any balls that come their way if your opponent clears it and redistribute it into that midfield, ready to start the next attack, as we will see in our demonstration in a moment. Right then folks, now that's everything explained, let's quickly demonstrate exactly what this formation can do for you. The reason for the high depth in this formation is so our defence is sitting just above that halfway line, ready to pick up any clearances and redistribute it to our attacking players whilst they are still in position. Your defence will still drop back as normal, just like with any other formation. And once you win the ball back, your flat midfield means that you can play the ball out to the wide player. Meanwhile, your striker will be there waiting to receive it to feet. And the long ball tactics means the other striker will generally make a nice run in behind, turning defence into attack with a few quick passes. The high depth also has that added bonus that your players will always be looking to intercept the ball and restart their attack when any defensive mistakes occur. Now the eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that this was the actual formation I used to make the last video, showing that it's just as beast as the man himself.
Akinfenwa. Akinfenwa. Akinfenwa.
Hope you have fun with this formation guys, and if you haven't joined the squad already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up and let me know what you thought in the comments. If it's not a Chempong, then it's Akinfenwa.
Beast.